So, I've been working on this video for a while and was going to release it last week, but then the direct happened, and well, I couldn't make a video about Mario Maker without at least acknowledging that there's going to be a sequel. Luckily for me, these tips were so broad that they still apply to the new game. Just as a heads up, if some of the audio sounds a bit different, it's because I recorded part of it before I knew Mario Maker 2 was a thing, and now, well, hype. Anyways, let's get into it. Super Mario Maker, a game designed to allow anyone to pick it up and start creating the Mario levels of their dreams. I've spent hours in this level editor exploring all different kinds of concepts and ideas. Yet when it comes to the other half of the game, you know, the one which lets you play levels made by people around the world, well, let's just say I usually try to avoid this feature. For every passionately designed, well thought out level are 100 slapped together, frustrating, mind-numbing, bottom of the barrel in a shit pile set on fire abominations that you just can't avoid. An infinite amount of possibilities, and you came up with this? What the fuck is happening in this level? I had to take a step back and assume that these courses were not being made with ill intentions, but rather without the proper knowledge of what makes levels fun in the first place. As my favorite uncle once said,
"With great power comes great responsibility."
This is why I've decided to create this simple guide with broad enough concepts that anyone can use to improve their level design. So let's get started, shall we? The first key to creating a good level is keeping it simple and easy to understand. There are lots of great levels that require you to do complex inputs at a breakneck speed, but any level worth its salt will do everything it can to communicate what you're supposed to do in a clear, concise way. A trend that's caught on that I am absolutely on board with is using arrows, coins, and track pieces to tell the player where to jump, how many times to jump, and where to use objects. Preview doors can also help, but are less effective when it isn't obvious what you're looking at. Without these guidelines, many Kaizo levels would be seemingly impossible to beat.
Well, I think Mario Maker creators have done a really good job of kind of pushing you in the right direction with showing you confusing strats, like the coins and these the little lines, like those all really help, yeah.
You should also avoid blind jumps and too many branching pathways, as while you may know the path to take in order to reach the flagpole, you've left every player who stumbles upon your course confused and in the dark. Use clear indications wherever possible to make your level easier to understand and less confusing. The second point to keep in mind is that your level should be rewarding, not punishing. Now, this isn't to say that you shouldn't make levels that are extremely difficult, but rather you should reward the player regularly for doing something good, and avoid punishing them for minor mistakes or things outside of their control. If you're making a platforming level, remember to give your player some breathing room after an especially tight jump. If you're making a Kaizo level, in between those mid-air shell jumps, try to add some quick, easy Goomba bounces to make the player feel in control. Exploration levels should have plenty of secret 1-up or power-up rooms to keep the player motivated to explore the whole stage, and puzzle levels are generally more enjoyable when they are easily resettable or don't break after one mistake. Another important piece to this is placing your checkpoints strategically. If there's a part of your level that is almost guaranteed to kill the player their first try, consider putting it directly or shortly after a checkpoint to allow them to practice without fear of having to trek all the way back just to attempt it one more time. The third tip to designing a good level is crafting a cohesive experience around it. No matter what type of level, it is always good to stick with the theme and carry it through to the end. This doesn't mean you shouldn't use a wide variety of enemies or items, but rather avoid mixing too many elements together that end up muddling the experience. Also, great creativity comes from artificial limits we put on ourselves. Committing to a set few enemies or power-ups will force you to explore each and every situation they can be utilized, which will lead to interesting and innovative ideas. New Super Mario Bros. U, while not the highlight of 2D Mario games, introduced a design philosophy that I think is very useful. The designers picked a theme, whether that was a type of platform, a specific enemy, or even just a location, and kept expanding on these concepts throughout the level to create almost a narrative within it. While you certainly don't have to use this philosophy to create a good level, it is important to think of what you're making as a unique experience that you can give the player. Try to keep it cohesive rather than seemingly random. Lastly, I want you to think of your favorite moments you've had while playing Mario Maker. Whether that was landing the final shell jump in a Kaizo level, solving an extremely difficult puzzle, or just letting an auto level do its thing. Now, these are vastly different experiences in very different levels, but they all share a common denominator, and that is you are having fun. Fun is the fundamental key to creating something others will enjoy. If your level isn't fun to play, why should anybody be playing it at all? So the last but most important point on this list is you should always be thinking of what's going to be fun and what is going to be frustrating. Let's compare the two. Fun. Frustrating. Fun. Frustrating. Fun. You get the idea. I'm sure a lot of you watching already follow most or even all of these concepts, but I hope it sticks into the back of your mind whenever you're working on your next masterpiece. If you want to make a good level, put the player first. Super Mario Maker is a great game, and Mario Maker 2 is going to be even better, and I believe the fact that there are this many bad levels in Course World is actually a positive thing. It shows that so many people around the world are having fun bringing their ideas to life. And that's kind of the point, right? Thanks for watching. If you got something out of this, leave a thumbs up. Tell me in the comments what you're most excited for about Super Mario Maker 2, and what you're going to be doing until June to contain that excitement. I mean, I'm full on hype mode right now. Yeah, I see you over there. You got until June, buddy. Till then.